Hello friends and welcome to a lecture on Python. This is the one of the most fundamental lectures and it's the starting of any programming language. This is some fundamentals that you should be knowing when starting with any programming language, and this fundamental is similar throughout all programming languages. So what we are going to discuss today is variables, values and operators. So variables, values and operators. In any programming language, a variable is always an alphabet or a string of alphabets. Now let's say A. Now this is an alphabet. Now this is a variable. In any programming language, you should assign a value to a variable. So let me assign 23 and let's execute this. So for this in Python, you have to press Shift and Enter. So now let me write A. Now as you can see here, and after writing A, I press Shift and Enter and it executed it. As you can see, the output is 23, which means that the variable A has been assigned a value of 23. Now I can also write a variable name which is much more meaningful than A, B, C, D. So let me write it as a variable. Okay, so a better name would be first variable. And I'm going to assign this a value of 45. Now it's very tedious to, again write the variable and see what is the value in it. Like I did this, it executed it. It did not throw up any error. So first variable has been assigned 45, but there is no echoing of whether the first variable has been assigned a value of 45 or not. In programming, it's always a good practice to write print after whatever you write, important definitions, write print and write the variable name. So in Python, if you write print and you write the variable name and execute this now, it prints out the value of the first variable, right? So the print command can be used to output the value of whatever variable it has been given. Now 45 is a value. Any variable that is second variable, let us say the second variable, can be also assigned a string of alphabets as a variable. Now mind you, here the string of alphabets should be written in double quotes. So I'll write a string of alphabets. Okay, and now let me write print second variable, and as you see, the output of this is a string of alphabets. Now it has printed out what has been stored in the second variable. So variables are names and they should be written without any quotes, and strings are any meaningful sentences which need to be written within quotes. So this can be stored into the variable. Now the values can be strings, the values can be numbers. So the kind of numbers that we can write in any programming language are all real numbers, negative and positive. All real numbers, negative and positive. Now by that I mean negative integers, positive integers, negative decimal numbers and positive decimal numbers, right? So now we have understood what is a value and what is a variable. Now we can do mathematical operations on variables. So let's do that. So a concept here to start with. FIRST, we again write first variable, and now we write this equal to 60 and then print first variable and execute this. Now as you can see, the variable first variable has been reassigned a value of 60. In the fourth command line, we assigned it a value of 45. Now we reassigned it to 60. Now below this, how much ever times we call first variable or refer to first variable, its value will be 60. So this is known as reassigned. A variable in a program can be reassigned a value anytime at your free will. Now this is an advantage also, and certain times if you're not very cautious, it could be a disadvantage also. So one needs to understand the power of programming, and with power also comes a great responsibility. Right. Now let me take my second variable. So second variable, now I reassign it equal to 50. Right. So I write print second variable. There we are. So the second variable has been assigned a value of 15. Now the first thing that we can do is the result variable should be equal to or is equal to the first variable plus the second variable, and print and there we see the result variable is assigned a value of 75, which is nothing but the sum of the first variable and the second variable. Plus is a mathematical operator. It has added whatever variable was assigned, whatever value the first variable was assigned, to whatever value the second variable was assigned, and it has done a mere addition. Similarly, we can do subtraction. So there we have got the difference between the first variable and the second variable. So the operator here is, or the mathematical operator here is subtraction. Now let's see the multiplication mathematical operator. So let's do it. So star is your mathematical operator for multiplication. And there we are. We have got the product of 15 and 60. Now let's go to the idea of division. Okay, so that is it. Division. This idea needs to be understood a bit more in deeply. So division are of two kinds. The first kind of division is the usual division that calculators do, which is known as the decimal division. Now I'll demonstrate how it is done. So we have result variable as first variable divided by the second variable, and then we print the result variable, and there we have got 4. Mind you, it is 4.0. Now let's do something interesting, and what we do now is we reassign the first variable a value of 77. And then afterwards, we again do the division. And print the result variable. And there we see, it's a division in which the decimal parts are also shown. So this is the kind of division that you get in calculators. Now there is one more kind of division that we can do here, which is known as an integer division. I shall demonstrate it now. So what we do is we write result variable as equal to first variable and we put 2 slashes. Instead of 1 backslash, we put 2 double slashes and we write second variable. And now we print the result variable. What do we get? As you can see here, the second variable was 15 and the first variable was 77. What we get is the quotient of the division, right? We do not get a decimal, but we get an integer, and this integer is the quotient of the division of 77 divided by 15. Now 15 5s are 75. Okay, so 2 is the remainder and 5 is the quotient of the division. Now if you want the remainder, the kind of division that we need to do is and percentage, that's also known as modulo division, and we write the second variable. And let's print the remainder. And there we are. We have the remainder as 2. So as you can see broadly, there are two kinds of division that any programming language can do. One is a division which is a decimal division, and second is a division which is an integer division. Now in integer division, there are two parts. You get the quotient and you get the remainder. Now this many times is a very important aspect of division, which helps us in a lot of calculations. So today we have discussed in this lecture what is a variable and what are operators. Now the last operator. The last operator is that of how you do a powers. So powers to numbers. Let us say we have a first number. So let's write a first number. And we write it as 2. And now execute and we write the second number. And we write it as 2. Now we write first number star star second number. And what do we get? We get 4. That's 2 raised to 2. Now many people would argue that 2 into 2 is also 4. So let's reassign the first number. Equal to 3. And let's redo this operation. So I'll copy whatever is in line number 17 and re-execute it. And there we are. We have 9. So that was 3 raised to 2, 9. So this is raising powers. Now, if you want to take the square root of a number, what you can do is, it can be done this way. You should write the second number, that is the power, as equal to 1 over 2. Now, first number, the whole raised to, not the whole raised to, star star, second number. Now, as you see, we have got the square root of 3. Now, if we want the cube root, it can be done in a similar fashion. First number. Now, instead of writing second number, what I can do is I can directly write the number 1 by 3 in brackets. And there we are, 1.4422. So this is how we calculate powers of numbers. Okay. This is the way it's done in every programming language that is available today. These mathematical operators are similar in all programming languages. It is not unique to Python. The idea of assigning values to variables, the idea of operators, the way operators are written are common in all programming languages. So that's the end of my first lecture. Hope you have learned the fundamentals of programming well enough to take a jump in Python and any programming language of your choice. Goodbye. Have a great day.